On July 15th, we came home to find a column of smoke rising above our home. A plane was dropping fire retardant and a helicopter dropping water. We hoped the fire would go out, but instead, the flames started growing. I went over to the border of our property and looked toward Anderson Hill. It seemed the wind was blowing that way and the flames were rising. But as you can see in the video coming up, the flames are running all along the top of the ridge. Not long after I got back to my cabin, fire was burning close next door. We signed an evacuation order and got out. We're very grateful to the firefighters who saved our home and for the retardant that they dropped to prevent our home from burning. This video is about how to clean up the retardant once it's been dropped. You can see up here that the fire got very close to us. That's just a few hundred feet above us. The fire came right down the hill until it was stopped by this ditch that the firefighters dug. Fire was coming toward us, and we had nothing else to do but leave our mountain cabin. See here that the retardant covered logs along the road, sticks along the road. The road all the way down is covered with retardant. There was more, much of it washed away, but there's still plenty left. The retardant does seem to get anywhere. You can see here the retardant actually got into our outhouse. Fire retardant even went down beyond our hill and down the hill. These plants here, and they were actually just weeds, but they are dying. The retardant kind of killed the leaves. If the plants are watered, most plants, if they're watered, will recover. But leaves that are burned just can't. So these plants here were covered with retardant, and actually of the 4, it seems that only this one really mostly lost its leaves. Not the peppers on it, but the leaves. I'll really have to wash those off if I want to use them. See here that the retardant, which they dumped on our property to keep our house safe, covered pretty much everything in this area. Even our compost pile. You can see it on the leaves here. With the plants, watering, of course, is the best thing if you have the means and opportunity. We have our own spring and our own water pump, so we can actually do this. Let's get to the mop-up. Retardant is supposed to wash off with rain. It has washed. It has rained a few times, but there's still retardant on this skylight. I'm going to use water. I'm going to pour it on. Now, this is glass, and I'm using a cloth, and I'm going to gently try and wipe it away. You have to be very careful what you're using and what the surface is. If you use a brush, you can actually push the iron oxide and the retardant into the thing you're trying to clean off. You can see how red that is. It's getting a little better. A hose would be better, but I wanted to show how to do it the hard way. It's not recommended that you let it lie in puddles. If your pets might lick those puddles, and the pets can get sick and have symptoms of fertilizer poisoning. So you want to watch out for that, and if they do get sick, you tell the vet that they may have gotten into a fertilizer-like compound. Although it's not considered to be very toxic, it is somewhat toxic, and thus I'm not using my Chuck-It and my Chuck-It balls for the dogs, because the dogs drool on the balls, and the drool would pick up some retardant, and we don't want that. Which is what this is. You very much do not want to put any harsh chemicals on this stuff to try and clean it. You don't want to put anything that you don't know what it would react with phosphorus. Phosphorus can create some of the most deadly compounds that we have on Earth. And you do not want to inadvertently make the poisonous phosphorus compound. Now I'm doing this in its entirety so you can see how long it took to actually get it clean. And that's it. Solar panels did not get as much retardant on them for some reason as the skylight. But I need to clean these off too, and we'll just do it the same way. Use water, a rag, wipe the and rinse. You can see that this car really got covered. We do want to try and get the stuff off a car. We've actually tried a hose, but it didn't wash off that quickly. And again, you don't want to push the stuff into the paint, but you do want to get it off. This is going to take a bit more work than I thought. You do want to get it off your car as soon as you can. I used rags to clean the car. These were really great. However, after a while, the rags would get so full of retardant, it felt like they were full of clay. And one thing I would have done if I had thought of it, I didn't realize this, is I would have worn gloves. This stuff did irritate my hands, even though you'll see later on I washed after getting done. Okay. Before, when I was scrubbing the car, the stuff really didn't want to come off that easily. I really had to scrub. So what I did was I put a little sprinkler, just set so it would cover the car. And this really works for getting the retardant off. What was hard to scrub before just comes right off with the cloth. So this is a pretty good method if you want to try it. If you use a hose, just use a gentle stream. Do not use a nozzle or a power washer that'll push the retardant into surfaces you don't want it permanently in. Finally, if you get the retardant on you, wash it off your skin with soap and water. Now I just got some on because I was using the rags, and I do want to get it off. This is a biodegradable detergent I'm using. Thanks again to the brave firefighters who saved our home.